Hey guys, making this video to address the spell lineup for Necromancer at 115 as of, let's just say July of 2021, after a number of, dot changes. People call them nerfs, but, I used to have like 4 different sets of dots that I would rotate through on the spellbook saved set, and it was so annoying. I do kind of feel that the change to wounds was pretty crappy for the people that used them. I didn't use them a lot because I'm not raiding, so mobs, even the largest named mobs I faced just don't last that long. And when I would use them to do like a big kite root fest thing, that's not how I really enjoy playing Necromancer. And I know there's a lot of people that did, but you've got the consolidation, you've got the swift dot nerfs, and that is a nerf. I mean, they went from being awesome to just worthless. I'm not going to max my focus in them. I'm sure someday when I have nothing left to spend AAs on, I'll do it. But Swifts are junk. Wound Blind is, as far as I know, is worthless now too. Heck, I mean, I used to use the Aura Remote Sphere of Withering to power level, and I hear it's been nerfed. Okay, enough of that though. We have a great lineup right now. We do a lot of damage, and we do it pretty quickly. I'll walk through each one of my spells and just tell you why I have them where they are and what they do. This is pretty basic stuff, but I know that there's some people that like to just kind of find out what other necromancers are doing. So this is how I start out. Most mobs I pull with snare. And for me, it's keyboard command 5-6. It's darkness and scent of food. I pull with snare, make sure it's a single, immediately hit send my pet, and then the first spell that I cast is Assert for Blood. Assert for Blood is a direct damage spell, which, is not really our thing, but Assert for Blood is awesome because it has 2 possible buffs that can proc from it. One is guaranteed to proc, and that is Defiler Synergy, and that does a 30% increase into your dot damage, and I think it's for 16 seconds, I think. It might be 14. I don't. It's a short amount of time, so it's something you're going to be casting often to keep the Defiler Synergy up. It also gives some sort of buff to your group mates, which for me doesn't really matter. It does buff Jobber a little. I don't really know what it does though. Jobber's not really there for DPS. He's there just to take a beating. It also has a chance to proc Chaotic Power, which is what we want. We want that up as much as we can. Chaotic Power increases your dot damage. It varies, but if I remember correctly, it's a minimum of 60% up to 200%. Maybe it was like 190, 180. It's a big increase, and it's one of those ones that has a counter. It does it for like 20 or 24 spell hits. So it's great to load up a few dots, have Defiler Synergy going first, and then the next time you cast it, it throws Defiler Synergy for that 30% increase across the board, and then it has Chaotic Power, which does this massive boost. So I open with Assert, and then I put on the Double Disease dot. It's the grip. It's decaying grip of Zordon, and this is a long-lasting dot. I think it's 2 minutes. It's up to 130. So sorry, I was a little off there. It's a long. That is in Necromancer time, that's forever. So that's my first dot. I lay that on first, and that's just to, you'll see as I go. That's to keep the order going. The third spell, and this is our spell. This is the one this is DPS Pyre. It's awesome. With all of our focuses with fire spell, this is the one. I lay it on constantly when a mob is, down to that last like 20%, and I've got I got like the disease dot hanging on there, maybe like ignite still hanging on, and I know it will drop, but maybe it takes a little longer. I'll throw an extra pyre on there, and it's dead. Immediately after that is Oblivion. Oblivion is also a monster dot. It does a lot of damage. It's magic based, and you don't have to worry about the fire resist in the latest expansions, but in Empires there were quite a few elemental mobs, at least where I was fighting, and so they would resist fire dots. So it was nice to have the Oblivion line, and it's not it has a pretty high damage. The next two spells are the two poison spells. I think it's I don't need to think. I'll just tell you. It's Crystal Crawler and then Haze. Yep, Pallid Haze. Another great high DPS spells, and they're also poison. So again, if you have mobs that are resisting fire, great. You've got two monster poisons DPS spells to help you out there too. After that comes the next two fires. It's Pyre and Broiling Blood. It's the second Pyre. It's Pyre the Wretched. Little less DPS. I would say this is good DPS. And then Broiling Shadow, another good DPS. The adding damage to incoming drain effects, I don't use. I know this is almost blasphemy. I don't use taps. I'm not getting hit. If I'm getting hit, that means Jobber's dead, the Merc's dead, my suspended companion's dead, my swarm pets are dead. It means something went really wrong. There are some name mobs that I will get smacked with area effect, or I'll get targeted for a brief second. Those are frustrating, but I will rely on my Merc to heal me. While he's healing me, I will heal Jobber. I also will, further down, coming up soon, I'll hit Composite, which does a little bit of healing. But anyway, after the second and third fire spells comes the last dot that I use, which is Ignite. It's a good DPS. It's not great. But really, after you hit Pyre, you hit Oblivion, you hit the big poison, that's what you need on most mobs. When you're in Cov, it's different. You need everything. Tov, you kind of need everything too. But if you're in it and Ring of Scale, or if for some reason you're farming stuff lower than that, you might not be relying on those last couple dots as much. Maybe Pyre number 2 you will. But after Ignite, I have our, I guess, progression spell. I never really know what the hell this is. I call it Composite. I think I'm up to level 2 or 3. I've been able to solo it to at least one upgrade, so that's cool. It's a big damage. It used to be a mana issue. I don't really know if with the changes and everything, if you really consider that a mana issue. 18,783, 15,958 for our Pyre. Oblivion is well, it's half of that, but I don't really consider it to be a mana issue anymore. I used to when it was Daiko, when it was under like the TBL expansion and all that. I used to only cast it when I got a gift. But now, if I'm churning through and I get to Ignite and I still haven't had a gift go off, I just go ahead and cast it. and it does have a little bit of healing factor. It's a bit of a drain dot too, so that can be helpful. Sometimes if I need to hit Death Bloom in the middle of a fight, I'll toss that on there no matter what, just to kind of. It doesn't do much. It's not great, but sometimes it will help alleviate the Merc from tossing it on the heal on me and letting Jobber get smacked even harder. The next one is my Swarm Pet. I don't really know anymore how great a DPS Swarm Pets are. Mine Swarm Pets con red to me, so I know they're like 117, 118. They're beefy, but and you know, in a pinch they will save you. But they're not mana intense, and they do DPS, so I use them. The next two spells are Jobber spells. It's the Dread Shield Rune, and Healing. So that's my spell lineup. I will run through real quick on this 103 mob that I had spawned in the arena. I don't know if it's a fair example because it's light blue, and I think it's considered old world, so it's probably got really low stats, but I'll I will run through my spells along with Jobber attacking, and I have Gamparse running, but I don't think it records using this Xbox Live thing that comes with Windows, my Gamparse that pops up. So I'll just read it off to you once the fight's over. One thing that is different in the arena, it doesn't, effects don't wear off. And that's kind of a pain, but I'm gonna move my auras because I have that Xbox thing. Oh man, I'm in a bad spot here. Let's see if I can. There we go. I need to get songs too. I'll move this later. I'm gonna go ahead and start. This video is at 12 minutes. This should take about a minute to go through the spells and do the damage, and I'll let you know what we're at. I'm going to assume it's going to be around 400,000 DPS since we're not using any AAs for burns. I'll make another video following up after this one with my burns and just go over what I found to be best. But anyway, we'll go Darkness, we'll do Scent of Thule, we'll do Assert, and we got both the buffs, which is great. So now we'll cast our Disease, we'll hit our Big Pyre, then we'll just continue down the line. I've gone through them, you know what they are. You just want to lay them on, and you'll see eventually eventually Pyre will start to fade. It should start right about the time Ignite Intellect hits. This is where now we go back and we refresh Pyre, we refresh Oblivion. If you notice, the Disease, the ones that we cast first, they're still fine, they're still going. I'm not going to cast Daiko, and I did not send Jobber, which I'll just leave him off. He doesn't do a lot of DPS. If you notice that our Chaotic Power, it burned through. However, the Defiler synergy stays for some reason just out of this arena. Things are blinking right now. I will go ahead and restart the dots. We're at 300,000 DPS right now. I'm just going to push them through one more time. I think with Jobber we'd be up to around 350. If I had gone with Composite, I'm not going to use it, but if I'd gone with Composite, it probably would have been up there. But this is my my spell lineup. This is what I grind away on. You know, Tav mobs usually just takes one run through. I usually add Pyre and Oblivion and Crystal Crawler one extra time, and that's about it. If things are low, I will toss some swarm pets, but that's really about it. It looks like I'm averaging 300,000 DPS. Definitely can do better on a real mob in a real situation where I'm having to keep up Defiler Synergy, I'm having to keep Chaotic Power, or I want Chaotic Power up all the time. I have Jobber going. I continually send in Swarm Pets. Probably going to do more like 350, 400. So that's the lineup that I use. I'm sure there are better, more mathematically sound lineups that maximize when to recast, and it's in the exact order that it needs to be. But for me, with my play, this setup works as good as any other setup I've had before. And with the consolidation that they had a few months back, I'm not having to lay on 3 sets of dots, click on my spellbook, load up a different set, lay on those dots, click back to the first set and hit something else. Like this is convenient. It's pretty simple. I mean, you can probably create a macro key that just runs through these and without you having to think about anything. I prefer to play my Necro hands-on, so I don't do that, but that's the lineup. The next video I will go through the burn AAs and what I use. That might come out in a few days. It's getting late here, so I'm going to wrap this one up, upload it, and call it. See you guys in the next video.